First of all, if you are a mayo monster,
whiteness needs to end.
White people do not inherently have empathy.
You're full of hate, right? Full of darkness, full of ugliness, full of low vibrations, and you are a hoe. Oh, hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Blaire White. Not a pun for the theme of today's video. The amount of people that ask me on a regular basis, whether it's a comment, a tweet, an email, a hater, sent by carrier pigeon girl, or even people who know me in real life often after knowing me for 6 to 9 months, like a pregnancy, finally work up that courage to ask, maybe over a tequila, is White your real last name? It's like a joke, right? We're just trying to be edgy. Oh my God, I get it. It's like a racist joke, right? I know a lot of things about me are fake, right? About 26 of them are on camera right now, just this upper half of my body. But, you know, I am holding on to one of the few last real things I have, which is that last name. That's just my last name. Don't know how else to say it. Because one of the things you become aware of when you have the slightly niche experience, right, of having the last name White is just how many people are really walking through the world that are genuinely triggered by the word white, just the word. And then it's a more logical conclusion to them that I am joking that my last name is White, that I must be trying to hurt people. Then that's really just my last name. So that's demented. So today we're venturing into anti-white TikTok. And you know, I can hear the Poindexters in the comments right now. Why are you focusing on anti-white TikTok, Blaire? Why don't you focus on insert any other race here TikTok? Well, you know, if it existed, that'd be great. But as of now, as of 2023, white is the literal only race that you can say horrendous things about, wish death upon, and not be banned off every social media platform and not have your life ruined. So until that changes, let me know.
first of all, if you are a mayo monster,
You couldn't lube me up a little bit first, sis? Oh my God. Points for creativity, but
that is how your ancestors got everything from stealing.
Which, by the way, the Q-tip people are the last ones to ever talk about somebody stealing anything. Y'all wouldn't be in this country had it not been for y'all stealing it.
the Q-tip people. I think I do need a Q-tip. I will say that because clearly I'm a little congested because there is no way that I heard that stupid shit come out of your mouth in that distinctly unaware that it's stupid shit tone of voice as confidently as you said it. Okay, so tell me you are the result of the American public education system actually tell me you're the victim of the American public education system without telling me. Because for you to make a definitive statement about a group so broad and diverse as white people, that entire race for which there are a crap ton of different people under that, all with unique ancestry from different places in the world, that doesn't make sense. Another reason I've always found this talking point so bizarre is that it's said at a time in history where most people are mixed with a little bit of something other than white, even if they are white, right? So like, how exactly am I supposed to calculate the exact amount of white guilt I'm supposed to feel for white people long before I was born conquering North America? Considering, I mean, I think I'm like 40-something% white, so there's that part. But I'm also 20%, a whopping 20% Indigenous American. So they came and took the land from those people. The same thing every race does throughout history all the time, by the way. Conquer lands, forfeit lands, win lands, lose lands. Like, that's just what that is. Does the 20% Indigenous American negate 20% of the 40% of the whiteness that I'm supposed to feel guilty about? Like, let me know. Give me an equation.
Y'all are more focused on people looting and trying to get necessities and things that they need. And yes, a TV is a fucking necessity.
you feel like you're better than because people are out here stealing and you would never.
TVs are a necessity, apparently. Baby girl, I'm gonna need you to stay away from the TV. See, the TV has rearranged you neurologically into thinking that the shit you're believing here and saying so proudly with all your chest is true. The TV telling you things and you listening to it is why you've dwindled down to this dumb. You know, I feel like most people, if you were to ask them, run a poll, would not agree that any individual should feel guilty or take ownership in some way over what someone else who happens to be of the same race of them is doing that's negative. So like the idea that you should take responsibility or feel bad or guilty about videos of people of your same race stealing TVs. The idea that you should feel guilty about that, that's dumb. You shouldn't. You're an individual, you're not the person stealing, right? But no one should feel guilty about what people are doing of the same skin color as them. That doesn't make sense. However, for you to so confidently think that white people, however, must feel guilt for what white people who were born and dead long before they were born have done or did do, or even are said to have done, that doesn't make sense. And it kills me how people act like history is like a Disney movie with good guys and bad guys. And, you know, this group are the evil conquerors and this group are the poor victims. It's like, you know, history of humanity is a very long timeline of lands being conquered, forfeited, won, lost, bloodshed, violence, peacetime, and everything in between. Good and evil is present in every group. The fact that you can only see it in one is the problem.
Seeing as melanin deficient Europeans created whiteness in order to enslave Africans and commit wholesale genocide, yeah, whiteness needs to end.
And you know, with that beard and that hair color, you should take him seriously. You know, setting aside the fact that you have the audacity to publicly endorse a race ending, right? Setting that aside for just one moment, if we can, question, where exactly would that leave you, sir? Because, you know, the sickly yellow tone to your skin color is not masking the Caucasianness. Listen, there are certain things that feel redundant to say, but clearly are so necessary. So it's gonna sound like I'm trying to introduce like 1 + 1 to you for the first time, or your colors, or, you know, your basic addition. But clearly this is needed. Ask yourself why there is only one group that you can publicly go on social media, advocate for the end of, and not have your life dismantled because of it. I mean, you would never catch anyone up on camera. I mean, you would, but they'd be taken down instantly, saying that Asianness needs to end, Blackness needs to end, Mexicanness needs to end. Like, what are you talking about? Psycho? Psychopath? Call me crazy, but I feel like there may be a little bit of an issue with the fact that, you know, our culture is firmly against racism with a caveat. Oh no, we can't do that because y'all are actually letting your hate out that exists in you, that you don't have a single other group to unleash it on, because every other group is off limits currently. I wish they had the same level of hatred for pedophiles as they do white people. I mean, wow. When's the last time you saw someone like this speaking up on the danger of pedophiles in the country? It's just whiteness, right?
You have a token white and you're hanging out with your friend group of color, you need to ask permission from everybody in the group to bring your white friend. Like, don't just bring them. Ask for explicit permission from everyone, because just because you're comfortable with them doesn't mean that everybody's comfortable with them.
Listen, mullet, you have been, as I often say, neurologically rearranged. I'm letting you know now, you've been neurologically rearranged by the corporate press, by wokeness, by your lived out social circle. They've moved things around and they have brought you to this delusion that you can publicly say that there is a specific racial group of people that you don't want around you. And if you bring them around me, I'm gonna be upset. Gotta ask me permission. And you think that that little rule you have does not place you under the exact definition of racist. You're racist. You're a hateful hoe. I mean, it's what you are. You're full of hate, right? Full of darkness, full of ugliness, full of low vibrations, and you are a hoe. Lost my shade of thought there. When you can't think of any more insults, just say hoe. But you know, hoe, you are like...
I might not be in the mood to deal with white shenanigans that day. That's all I'm saying. And another thing, it feeds into their ego. Like, don't let them think they're a good white person.
I like how these people go through life assuming that everyone around them is also equally as sick and deranged and obsessed about race as they are. So like in their head, if a white person's around them, they're getting an ego boost. Damn. That's your impact, mullet? It's that strong? Getting an ego boost just by being around you. That's your impact?
If BIPOCs stand in the street and scream at the top of their lungs, I hate all white people, I want all white people to go die, white devil, you cracker, that's still not racism. That's discrimination. It's an action that's bred out of a prejudice, for sure. Justified, arguably.
Okay. Mullet might have been onto something, because that ego boost, I actually am seeing it here. She thinks she's really getting some sort of social capital by saying this horrendous shit. That's the thing they do though, right? They will say, no, it's prejudice. It's not racist. So you don't like the word racist? Okay, let's find some other words. Hate monger, hater, brutally basic, trifling, low vibrational, dumb, uninspiring, demonic, devil, demon.
White people do not inherently have empathy, and it's something that I've talked about for more than a year. And one of the reasons is because it has not been modeled. If you look at the epigenetic nature of white folks, especially European Americans, white American people, there is this long-standing history of violence, and there has been no effort, no intentions, no work for white people to unpack it. So it doesn't really matter what type of community. It doesn't matter what the effort. White people don't have any practice in doing anything that is anti-oppressive. The things they have practiced doing together is violence.
Empathy has never been modeled. I am so glad that the arbiter of empathy, human kindness, has spoken. Bang that gavel. Final word for Miss Empathy over here, who cannot find enough empathy in her own demented body to believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that a group of people she hates, that she's racist against, are capable of a basic human emotion. I mean, that is the definition of dehumanizing, right? And when you dehumanize a specific race, that's what's called, ding, 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 racist. Right? And again, tell me you don't know shit about history without telling me you don't know shit about history. If you look at the history of white people, there's violence. Just them? Because that's totally a race-specific thing rather than a human thing. Okay.
I say white to remind people that white supremacy is everywhere. Because in order for true equality to happen, white supremacy has to be dismantled. And a lot of people are not even aware of their use of whiteness unless someone...
This hoe just gave me COVID. Through the screen. My God. Gotta make sure you say the word alone with about as much of a level of disgust as I've seen anyone talk about anything, right? Right? But you're the social justice fighter. You're the one fighting for social justice. You're fighting for hate.
White. In your case, you as a white woman telling an Asian woman how to speak on her account is a pretty white privileged mindset.
I'll make you a deal. Even though you just gave me COVID, I'll make you a deal. I will work to dismantle white supremacy. The moment you start dismantling whatever toxic friendship and or familial relationship you have that made you feel comfortable enough to behave this obnoxiously on camera without anyone ever telling you anything. If I was ever this much of an annoying nuisance ass bitch on camera, I would get a few texts from people who love me. You okay? You okay, Blaire? Just checking in. That TikTok was pretty wild you did. Like, someone would care and not want me to look this crazy.
So let's talk about where the word good morning originated from. Good morning. Alright, so during slavery times, when the women used to mourn about their child being taken away, and when the slaves used to cry about what happened all night long, the white slave masters, the oppressors, will wake up in the morning time and they'll tell the slaves, did you have a good morning? Did you do enough crying last night? So the white oppressors came up with good morning as a mockery towards black people.
I mean, even if that were true, it's a little bit irrelevant considering that is not how it's used today, right? So like you can pinpoint any number of phrases, words, lingo, slang that originate from something ugly. But if you choose to have that chip on your shoulder and you choose to engage in this level of an adversarial relationship with the rest of the world, that's a you problem, and I actually feel bad for you. See, we don't talk enough about how in modern culture it has become so normal for segments of minority groups to have this very adversarial relationship with the rest of the world, right? So I see it in my slice of the world, in the trans world. Like, you will literally have a large segment of that community, of that minority, that have such an adversarial relationship with the world that they think everyone hates them, which puts them on defense. And so they walk through the world with chips on their shoulder, like just so ready to like, oh my God, find hatred at every corner when it's not really there, right? It is not only unhealthy and a toxic way to live, it hurts you more than anyone else. So you're feeling so justified in your grudge against people telling you good morning that you really think that recording a TikTok about it is setting some straight. But the reality is you are in this self-defeating victim mentality that, you know, people use the word victim mentality, I feel like a little bit loosely. Like you can tell someone these days like that you're real sad because you just got cancer and they're like, well, you don't gotta act like a victim. It's like, calm down. But you know, this is a very clear-cut example. You are searching for victimhood so hard that you have found it in people who say good morning. That's your problem. That's not the world's problem at all. And I get hate from the trans community just because I don't see hate at every corner. And I don't hate cis people, right? Like, because I wish to be part of the world. That is enough for trans people to be like, bootlicker. That's just so nuts. You're nutty. You're a whole ball sack, right?
Dear white women, listen. You're only playing this if you value your life, is to shut the up. Listen exclusively to Black, brown, and indigenous women, femmes, and non-men.
Non-men? So like women? I mean, if your goal was to scare the shit out of me, mission accomplished. I'm definitely feeling like I'm part of a get out scene. However, you're not exactly winning over any allies, right? I don't respond to threats, Miss Girl.
Hey, white ladies, denying racism in your own self is violent, or else you're still just perpetuating the problems of society.
Why are you talking like that? I thought the woman who gave me COVID earlier in the video was the most annoying person I've seen in a long time on TikTok. You took the spot.
I get called a white savior because I can admit the shit that I do. Meanwhile, there's women running around thinking that they've never, ever, ever done anything in their life that could possibly even teeter on the edge of racism. You hurt the entire cause by denying that you ever, ever, ever had a racist thought. I don't think that way. Good luck with that delusion.
You know, I'm a big believer in tackling problems from the bottom up, right? You start solving the smaller problems to lead up to the bigger problems. So for you, Karen, the first problem before fixing racism, very big problem, is fixing the fact that you are currently overdosing on Xanax while making a racial justice video. That's the more urgent, you know, that's in your hands. The other stuff, not so much. That's in your hands. We're gonna definitely need to fix that. You are a white savior, and how I classify a white savior is these white people who come up on camera, first of all, telling on themselves, talking about how all white people are racist. Speak for yourself, babe. You got that demon in you doesn't mean every person has it, that it happens to be white, right? Like, you're telling on yourself. You're announcing your own racism because you're the actual racist. But You don't get to just put that on other people.
But that has never stopped white people from walking side by side and holding hands. My video is actually more for white people, actually. This is a serious question, and I would like a serious answer in my comment section or a stitch. Are y'all aware that y'all often take up space with disregard for the people of color around you? If there's any confusion, I can give you guys an example. I'm from New York City. Sometimes a sidewalk is narrow to the point where there's only enough room for two modes of traffic. But that has never stopped white people from walking side by side and holding hands.
So, you know, this video, just like a few of the others, really epitomize how miserable these people are, right? See, they're playing the role of Good Samaritan, doing the work, you know, trying to fight the good fight. But in reality, they are miserable people who walk through the world seeing misery, hatred, darkness, and negativity in everything, right? The fact that they bring up examples like white people holding hands. Tell me you're just not upset that you don't have someone's hand to hold without telling me. The fact that you feel attacked by people holding hands around you, right, is very indicative of how miserable you are. And that ideology has convinced you that this is a positive thing for you to see in the world, when in fact it's a negative. There are enough tragedies in the world, enough negative things, enough actual violence, enough actual hate, enough actual war, that you don't have to see something bad in people holding hands. The other girl doesn't have to see something bad in people saying good morning to her. The other one sees something negative in a white person being brought around them at all into their friend group. As if that's not an opportunity to make a new friend, to build a bridge. Wild concept. As if that's not an opportunity to say good morning back to someone, say something nice and brighten their day because they clearly try to brighten yours. I mean, wow. You're like one of those people going through the sand with the little machine looking for gold, buried treasure. But your little machine just sees hate in everywhere that it's not. With that being said, because I don't want to focus on the negative, my time of focusing on these demons is up. I gotta go. Love you. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to this channel as well as my podcast channel, and I'll see you in the next one.